What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and we are all very excited for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. I mean, look at this trailer. This thing looks absolutely phenomenal. However, there are 5 things I would love to see in this upcoming DLC that can really take Generation 9 to the next level. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and consider joining the Pan fam today by hitting that join channel member button below. Let's talk about shiny encounter. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have an incredibly easy way of hunting shiny Pokemon. We have things like town resets, where you just go into the town, reset, get a bunch of new Pokemon, which is definitely my favorite personal method. We have mass outbreaks that spawn throughout the map, and then you can shiny hunt these really easily. And of course, there's a lot of isolated shiny hunting spots that you guys know and love from my own channel. However, all these things have one issue in common, and there is no way to actually tell if a Pokemon is shiny with any sort of audio cues or any sort of visual indicator outside of the Pokemon having a different color. Now, a Pokemon game that has this is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is definitely the best shiny hunting game that we have ever gotten in the Pokemon series. It is incredibly easy to shiny hunt Pokemon in this game. Pokemon will pop up as shiny on the map. They'll have the audio cue, and they'll have a visual indicator with the sparkles as well. And that is phenomenal. You can be flying around the map, bam, a shiny can be right below you. You'll hear it, you'll see the visual, you can just jump down and get the shiny pretty easily, and you still have mass outbreaks. So I really hope that the Scarlet and Violet DLC takes a cue from Pokemon Legends Arceus and gives us all the phenomenal shiny hunting activities that we can do in that game in this game as well, because honestly, it is a big disappointment for especially people who have some sort of disabilities or are colorblind, who cannot actually tell the difference of these shinies. So having those audio cues, having that visual indicator with the sparkles is going to be incredibly helpful for all gamers out there. Now let's talk about crafting. Now, crafting in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is only used to make TMs, and it is pretty cool. You can make pretty much any TM possible in the game. Some you have to find in the environment first, and then you can make it. Some you just do it from the story, and there's a lot of TMs that you can make for sure, and some of the items are going to be incredibly rare, and some of them are going to be very common. It gives a whole use to the auto battling aspect of Scarlet and Violet. However, the only thing you can craft in this entire game with all these different parts is going to be TMs. There is no way to craft Pokeballs. There is no way to craft any other items or even cosmetics, which I would love that if we could craft clothing items. That would be really cool. But there's no way that you can do that in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I mean, when we look at the bag here, there's so many different items, especially when you look at the different balls here. There's a lot of things I would like to make. I mean, the fast balls, lure balls, all the special balls. We should be able to craft those instead of having to spend hundreds of thousands of in-game dollars to purchase the Pokeballs at the auction house. Now, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you can have to craft to make Pokeballs and a couple of other objects as well. And I think that's a good first step in PLA, but I want to see that taken to the next level where you can actually craft more usable things for the trainers, more cosmetics, more stuff for our picnic tables or anything, or whatever new mechanic they want to add to the crafting. I just want crafting to be an actual focus instead of an afterthought. The next thing I want is lively towns. Now, the towns in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are probably some of the worst towns we have ever seen in the Pokemon franchise. I mean, we just have NPCs walking around. You can't even really talk to the 99% of the NPCs in this town. They just straight up have little dialogue boxes over them, and you can't even walk into any houses in this game.
Look, gang, a door.
I wonder where it leads.
And did you actually know that Zapahiko in the game code actually has houses you can walk into? So some of these were supposed to be walk-intable, but unfortunately in the final game that released, because this game was definitely rushed, you cannot walk into any of these buildings. Now, there is no excuse for that. All of these towns are exactly like that. You should be able to go to a town, especially Mesagoza, and walk into these buildings, talk to NPCs, get quests from these NPCs, and not just use generic NPCs models who walk around saying the same repetitive things over and over again, also walking at 10 frames per second. we need to do better, and I hope the DLC really talks about this and improves this. I mean, Teal Mask does have that Japanese vibe to it, so I am excited for that. Hopefully that Japanese festival area is going to be really exciting for us to explore. And we also have that really awesome like terrarium area, and I hope in the terrarium in the Indigo disc is gonna be really cool, because honestly a lot of the general map in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is pretty flat overall. There's not a lot of like actual monuments or markers to go to or anything that's really exciting, points of interest on the map in general. Very few. So hopefully we add some more points of interest, more lively cities, more NPCs that make the game feel like it's a living and breathing world instead of like this cartoonish world that we currently have right now. Now for egg hatching. I absolutely despise the current state of egg hatching in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Seriously, we're just going through the steps right here. One, you want to get egg power 2 because you can really not hatch eggs with egg power level 1. Honestly, you really need level 2, and if you have no egg power at all, you might as well not even be hatching eggs, because it's really not happening. And this is a complete mess, because you also would need a Masuda Ditto, which, you know, Masuda Ditto, you're always going to need one in general, but it's just another layer on top of it if you really want to get some shinies. And then, of course, my favorite part, we're going to have to set up a picnic with egg power level 2 or level 3. And then, for the next 30 minutes of your life, you are just going to sit in front of this picnic basket. You're going to get a timer on your phone, and you are going to hit the A button once every about minute and 15 seconds here, waiting for eggs to come from your Pokemon and your Masuda Ditto. And you're going to be hoping you get about 60 to 70 eggs, and they go to your boxes directly. They don't have a special egg box in general, and the whole thing is very disappointing and slow. I've been talking for about, what, 30 seconds? All right, we got one Pokemon egg, and bam, we're just going to put down the controller again and just keep on waiting. And you cannot hatch eggs while you are doing this. The fact that the egg hatching process is a completely separate method from the egg breeding process is awful. Do it like in classic Pokemon games. Just let me hatch eggs while I can breed for eggs at the same time, so I'm continuously doing work and it doesn't feel like two separate processes. Because honestly, it just seems like, well, if I want to make some eggs, I'm going to watch a TV show and mash A for about like an hour, and we'll just hopefully get enough eggs for about 4 or 5 boxes, and we'll start hatching, and hopefully we get it. So I don't know. I hope the DLC somehow fixes this. I hope they completely change the egg hatching method, introduce the daycare lady again or something like that, because we really need it. Because if you've been shiny hunting for the living dex, you know how terrible and tedious this method is, especially if you're incredibly unlucky getting those over 1,000 egg hatches for a particular Pokemon. And the last improvement I want to see in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet is co-op adventures. I want some fun activities with friends in this game. Currently in Scarlet and Violet, as you can see, the only things we can do is be in a union circle, which actually really provides no additional benefit outside of catching the other game's version exclusives. And still then you have to deal with both spawns of Scarlet and Violet exclusives coming in at the same time. So it sort of defeats the purpose that the host world doesn't actually just have the host world's Pokemon, which I do think is like counterproductive to the whole point. Then you can do terror raids, and we know how that whole terror raid system is. I mean, this is not a great system at the moment. It is very buggy. It is very glitchy. I actually think the system in Sword and Shield was a lot better. And when you try to refresh for new raids, it only works about every like 5-10 minutes. So it's not that great. And I really do hope that they add Dynamax Adventures to the DLC. Obviously not going to be called Dynamax Adventures, but you remember Dynamax Adventures. Let us catch all those legendary Pokemon. And I hope all those Pokemon Home legendaries and mythicals that were added to the game code will now be available to be caught in-game in the DLC with online friends. And hopefully it'll be something similar where you go through a series of battles, eventually get to that final legendary Pokemon, have a good shiny chance of 1 out of 100, because currently shinies in the game are 1 out of 4,300 and something for raids, which is pretty awful in my opinion. So make it a good shiny hunting opportunity, give it so we can get legendaries and keep catching repeated legendaries as well, so we can just farm them for different IVs and EVs for VGC play, which would be absolutely phenomenal. And that's really all you can do in this game outside of Pokemon battles, of course, and trading with people. And that's always been staples of the game, which is fun. I would love to see other activities that would be possible in this game. Maybe allow us to do the olive roll together online, or the skateboarding challenge online together, and maybe actually add more to it, make it multiplayer, make it high score chasing, add some more mini games that we can do online, maybe some like Pokemon Stadium mini games, something. I just want more out of this game as an online experience, because right now most players only experience this game as an online experience through the pretty janky rating system and surprise trade at the moment. Outside of that, most people aren't doing competitive battles online, which is very disappointing, but most people don't want to do that. So I feel like this game should evolve on the multiplayer offerings of the game, and let's hope that the DLC will even do half the things I said in this video. Well, guys, there you have it. Hopefully some of these things come true in the Scarlet and Violet DLC coming out later this year. Apparently both of them are coming out later this year, so hopefully both of these things come true and a lot of these things happen. Let me know in the comment section below what you want to see in the DLC. I would love to hear it. And of course, guys, if you like this type of video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.